Wolverhampton Wanderers have another point on the table. It's finished Spurs 2, Wolves 2 in the final game of 2024. And I think we will probably take that because there were chances for Wolves to possibly go and win the game. I thought we were pretty good second half. But certainly, Tottenham looked threatening every time they went forward. And with the mistakes that you felt Wolves possibly had them in them defensively, it could have gone anywhere that game. But certainly, I think if you offered Wolves fans and Vitor Pereira 7 points from his first 3 games, I think we would have all been very, very satisfied with that. As always, if you managed to catch the game, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Starting line up on the screen now, it was intriguing really because a few changes were made. The main ones, well the only ones really, Dawson in for Totti, who was out of the squad completely with a knock. Jean-Rick the Bellegarde and Hwang both starting ahead of Strand Larsen and Gonzalo Gedge. And it had to be because of fatigue, because I felt the last 2 games really, obviously we saw Aït-Nouri come in for Rodrigo Gomez against Manchester United, but the bulk of those squads and the front 3 especially shouldn't have been changed really. But we saw Strand Larsen and Gedge start on the bench, but it was a dream start for Wolves, and it was Hwang Hee-chan who scored the opening goal. It's a fantastic finish, a free kick for Wolves right on the edge of the area. Aït-Nouri and Cunha looking over it, and Aït-Nouri takes it short to the edge of the area where Hwang whips his body across the ball into the far corner. A little bit like Ruben Neves against Aston Villa, a free kick we saw at Molineux a few years ago, but just a fantastic finish. And, Hwang has had a lot of doubters. Those finishes certainly help him. I think the rest of his game was fairly frustrating, to be completely honest. I felt he's quite anonymous and struggled to get into the game despite his goal, to be fair. But it's nice for him to hopefully now have the confidence in where he gets the chances, he is going to start to take them as well. Frustratingly, though, we only held that lead on for sort of 5 minutes or so. Sort of arch nemesis defending set pieces is back. We thought maybe after the last 2 games against Leicester and Manchester United we were over it, but zonal marking didn't quite work out, and it's Bentancur who runs onto the ball. It's a powerful header past Jose Sarr to make it 1-1. And really Spurs had the upper hand for the remainder of that second half. Wolves really struggled to grab the game, and it was all Spurs really. They had a penalty which I felt at the time was harsh, but you watch back, I think anywhere else on the pitch it probably gets given. Andre just a little bit too late. Brennan Johnson just beats him there, and just it's one of those where when the referee gives it, VAR is not going to overturn it. However, Jose Sarr, who had one of the strangest Premier League goalkeeper performances you'll see all season, saves the penalty. He came up with a graphic when I was watching of the the last 5 penalties Heung-min Son had. 4 of the 5 were to that right-hand side where Sarr dived to. So it was a brilliant stop by Jose Sarr. And at that point, it kept us in the game. But frustratingly, we allowed, obviously, Brennan Johnson to score to give Spurs the lead right on half-time. Pretty much one of the last kicks of the half. This goal was frustrating because Wolves had quite a lot of momentum and were going forward just before the move. Spurs get it down the other end. The Dawson left centre-back just didn't quite work for me. I think, as mad as it sounds, I think Totti does have his negatives. I feel a little bit more comfortable with him at left centre-back. Dawson just sort of struggled in defending at times. Those counter-attacks, especially with Ryan Aït-Nouri pushing on so much throughout the game. But, yeah, Dawson and Bueno sort of caught up on Kulusevski. But Andre and João Gomez, either of them have got to do a little bit better here, because Brennan Johnson just ghosts in between the two of them, picks up all the time and space he wants, and can just pretty much pick his spot and does so. So to go in at 2-1 down at half-time was frustrating, especially when you see the news of Matheus Cunha getting substituted off. We saw Bellegarde and Cunha both come off. Not good news for many fantasy Premier League managers around the world. But he did show a graphic of him with ice down the back of his leg, which is a little bit of a worry. Of course, we're still waiting on the news of his suspension. It may well come in this week, to be fair, so it may not be anything to be concerned about. But it was a shame because Cunha played really well. He was everywhere once again in that first half. His work rate on and off the ball, defensive work rate, was phenomenal. So I was a little bit concerned. But the way Spurs played in that second half just played into Wolves, really. And it was just, I just felt it was a matter of time, really, when Wolves were going to take that chance or get that chance and take it, because we had so much of the ball. We had like 70-75% of the possession for the majority of that second half. but we're just a little bit too patient. We weren't taking those opportunities. At times the final ball was a little bit ropey, but every time we lost the ball, we looked all over the place defensively. Around the 65-70 minute mark, Vitor went for it. He changed it up, went with a flat back three. Everyone else pretty much attacking. We saw a rare cameo for Forbes as well, who put himself about a little bit and created some half-decent opportunities. But the goal did come, and it's a fantastic finish. Such a, probably a goal that's not going to get spoken about much this weekend, but a tremendous finish by Jorgen Strand Larsen. To be fair, the vision from Ryan Aït-Nouri is fantastic to find that pass through. Strand Larsen at the near post smashes it in. I think everyone in the stadium was stunned because we were half expecting, I think, because of how good the run was and how good the ball was. I think everybody was half expecting the flag to go up. But it's a phenomenal finish from Jorgen Strand Larsen to get us level. But we didn't make life easy for ourselves. I honestly thought we could go on to win the game if we carried on the way we were. But I think Vitor was pretty happy with a point. That suggested the way that Wolves were taking their time. We saw Jorgen Strand Larsen go down for a little while. Wolves took their time on set pieces. But the one set piece, Semedo, we've got everyone forward. He plays it back to Jose Sarr, and this is what I was talking about. It's such a strange performance. There was 3, 4, maybe even 5 times where Sarr on the ball was just playing so risky, and on another day it would have caught up with him. But yeah, he played on the edge today. Yes, he got the penalty save, but everything else about his game was so scary to watch as a Wolves fan, to be completely honest. But look, we held on. It's another positive point for Wolves. Much needed point, especially away from home. Like I said, I think 7 points at this stage before the Leicester game you would have taken 100%, and then we come on to a really intriguing and tough run of fixtures throughout January, starting off with Nottingham Forest at Molineux a week tomorrow. Look, it was a depleted Spurs team, but I think from the midfield, well, even the fullbacks and the midfield onwards, it's a really strong side still, and a team full of quality, and Wolves managed to deal with it fairly well. Cunha is a miss, of course. It would have been interesting to see what it would have been like with him in the team in the second half, but ultimately it's finished Wolverhampton Wanderers, well, Tottenham Hotspur 2, Wolves 2, another point on the board. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.